Howdy. Time to share. Had a lot of people ask questions about current condition, past situations, etc. So, easiest way to do it is to just tell you all myself. This goes back to late December, January. One day after practice, I recognized that I could not, I was not moving as well as I should. As a matter of fact, my left leg was dragging. There was no particular accident of sort. Nothing I could think of, just years of wear and tear from coaching and other. So went and had it checked out. 2 or 3 doctors later, 3 or 4 MRIs later, they missed what it was. They never figured out what was going on. They just thought maybe there was some disc problem. Finally went to a surgeon, a spinal surgeon, who told me that there was a spinal fracture that they had missed, and that the discs that they thought were irritated were in fact herniated. So one particular level they wanted to go in and fix with fusion. So I was put on restricted access, so I was still coaching, but I wasn't coaching the way I normally do, so I had to sit down and coach or stand and coach and get through. So I got through the end of basketball season and through an entire baseball season with this, with the fracture and the 2 discs being of issue. Finally determined surgery date when they were going to do the fusion. For whatever reason, some administrative problems on their side. There were several delays, as you guys probably heard about. I was a little bit frustrated about. Finally, in accepting that place in me that I was going to allow them into my spine and to do the fusion to fix it, I was ready to go. July 14, they went in, they did the surgery. I woke up prepared to, at least mentally prepared to deal with the new spine and all of the things that recovery and rehab that are required with that. Was told beforehand that my endurance would be reduced tremendously, and of course my activities would be restricted over the course of the next few months. But when I woke up, I noticed that my catheter was still in. I was told that the catheter had to be there for 5 days, which signaled to me that there was a problem. In fact, it was that when they went in to put the catheter in, they punctured my urethra. That would lead to several other things. So when I got out, I had a catheter in me and attached to my thigh. So 2 strikes against the idea of walking. A new spine, which I would not be able to walk with for a while without assistance, and then the catheter, which made it almost impossible to take an actual stride, even using a walker. Released finally a few days later, came home, was told, okay, a couple times a day you need to get up with the walker and get the blood circulating. I did so the first day, and then the morning of the second day I got up for the first time, and I probably got halfway from the bedroom to the front door, and I looked at Becky and said, hey, look, something's wrong. There's a problem. I, for the past few years, have used a CPAP machine to sleep. And on days when I've had my allergies bother me, the thing that I would do is I would put the CPAP on, and it would help force air into areas that I wasn't normally getting air. So it occurred to me that I probably should just put the machine on and see if I could help regulate my breathing. Did that, and Becky called 911, knowing the difference between when something's wrong and something's really wrong. Thank goodness we did. Got rushed, picked up, went to the emergency room. My surgeon, I came in after several hours. They came to me and told me that, in fact, they'd done scans and that there were several embolisms in my lungs and in my heart. And those, of course, were issues, major issues. But on top of that, and what appeared to be the capper of them all, was that those little blood thugs brought along a bully. And that bully is called a saddle embolism. And the saddle embolism has one purpose, and that is to end you. This particular one was large and angry. And it wrapped itself, so imagine a horse saddle, and it wrapped itself directly over my bronchial stem and shut down the two accesses to both lungs. Again, it has one purpose. And I was told that 99% of the people who ever have them don't survive it. In the meanwhile, they scan my body and they scan the rest of my legs, and they found over 20 other embolisms, blood clots in my legs. So the dilemma is this: how to treat it. Because I just had the spinal surgery, the fear was that in thinning the blood that I could hemorrhage out or get infected in the spine, and that, of course, wouldn't be good. But the other side, they need to treat them. And finally, over a couple of hours, the specialists got together. Several of them got together. They made a decision. Listen, we need to go after the saddle embolism and the other embolisms by thinning your blood. We'll take the risk. Whatever happens after that will happen. All the while, I'm still not able to do anything. I'm not able to walk and not able to go to the bathroom. There's certain things I can't do. What they did is they went in my neck and they ran a filter down, and it sits above my heart, and its job is to stop any other embolisms from getting in. In the meanwhile, in the past 30 plus days, I've been treating my blood with blood thinner, and I find out next week whether it's taken and helped. I mean, I'm still here, so bravo to that. They finally unplugged the catheter, and because of that freedom, I was given the choice that, hey, look, I can either wait and see how this plays out, or I can get up and fight this thing on my terms. And through your prayers and the great Almighty just simply allowing me the chance, and His strength and His will is that I'm going to get up and walk. I'm walking, and then with each step is strength, and each step is another chance. And so this walking thing is not about conditioning to me. It's about that these steps were the things that I had to take away from where I was. And the more I walked, the farther away I got from that place that I was in. And for each opportunity, and let's be clear, that saddle embolism, on top of any of the other embolisms could have been fatal. But that embolism had a purpose. And for me to not recognize that the alternative could have been simple for me. I could have been waving. I'm still here, and I plan on being here, and of course, it's not my plan, it's somebody else's. While I'm here, what I control is what I do with it, and my place in it. So I'm not going to wait for doctors. I'm not going to wait on timetables that are set. I'm 8 weeks ahead of schedule as far as my strength and my endurance, and I'm going to keep pushing that, because 8 weeks ain't enough, and 8 weeks ain't far enough away from where I was. So you want to know what these steps are all about, and what it's all about. I'm eating better. I'm eating clean. I'm walking, as you can see. I'm going through therapy and rehab, but I've got to go through lung rehab and heart recovery rehab, and got to get the legs right. But on top of all that, it gives me clarity of mind and clarity of spirit. So pardon me for the continual post about how many steps I took that day. But for me, it is a thrice daily reminder that the opportunity to do so was given to me. So what you won't say about me when my final day comes is that I didn't do enough, that I didn't do something. And in my particular case, I'm going to do as much as I can. Yes, it's you who prayed for me. Yes, it's you who cheered me on. Yes, it's you who loved on me. And if you don't understand how powerful y'all are for helping me get out of that bed and not stay there and not to allow things to happen around me, and for you to not understand how powerful it is for you guys to love on me and tell me, you know what, you matter and we're thinking of you. I cried more in that stretch than ever, and I'm a crier, so I fully admit that. But I was broken down and based out, and let me tell you, the get right was simple and quick for me, and the clarity was just obvious and strong. So I'll tell you, whatever you're going through, and it ain't just me. All of this ain't about me. This is about my friends and my family who are going through whatever thing you're going through. And to tell me that there are days when you don't want to get up, and there are days you don't feel like you can get up, and you don't know if you can take another step, and you don't know if you want to take another step. Well, guess what? Go. Go. That's what you ought to do. That's what you need to do. That's what you're here to do. And that other thing, I keep talking about it, and I started using it with my players years ago. But love out loud. Love and be loved out loud. Because the strength in it and the power in it and the unification, the power of the unity of being able for people to know that they matter and that they're loved and that they're lovable and loveable is important. And it's the thing that we need to do first and last each day. So, now you understand some of the story of why these steps are important, why my steps are important, why your steps are important, why our steps are important. I'm not focusing on all that other political nonsense and the craziness that goes on. You know why? Because in the end, if I love me and I love you and it is reciprocated, none of that other stuff is going to win. So I say that. I start each day with a thank you. I end it with a thank you. And I say it several times in between. Even when I complain about my steps, I understand that on my journey, it is my thing. And I am lucky and blessed and thankful and grateful for each and every painful step that I got to take. And the ones that you take too. None of them are taken alone. Yours ain't alone. Mine ain't alone. And they never will be. Never forget that. Love and be loved. And do it out loud. Thank you. Love you all. 2 fingers in love. Yeah.